Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and this is going to be a pretty interesting video because we're going to be talking about what has been happening with the prices of Ram trucks. Now this also applies to Jeep product, Chrysler product, and then also Dodge product as well. So if you're planning on purchasing from any of these brands, you definitely want to watch this video before you make a purchase so you understand exactly what is happening. And I had to do quite a bit of digging to get the information for this video. This is normally the type of video that I post on the second channel, but I'm posting this on the main channel because I just want to make sure that people know this information. And so, you know, for all of my time and effort spent into this, if you want to help support the channel a little bit, I'm going to include a link to my car buying guide in the description down below. It'll help you save time and money the next time you purchase a car anyways, but it's also a way for you guys to show support. And with that being said, let's get right into it. I have to give a little bit of a backstory as to why I'm even making this video and how I even found out about this whole situation. And the reason I found out is because I own a 2021 Ram 1500 TRX. And because I own this truck and make YouTube videos about this truck, I get so many questions on it. Like, hey, what's the fuel economy? Should I buy this over a Raptor? How much should I pay for a TRX? Just any question you guys can imagine, people ask me with the truck. Now, on top of that, people also tell me things about the truck, like, you know, their ownership experience compared to my ownership experience, and also what they paid for their Ram TRX. And for the last few months, I've had a ton of people tell me that they got their TRX for under MSRP. And I think that that's crazy, right? Because I'm like, we are in the craziest car market of all time. And this is not exactly like, it's not a super difficult vehicle to get. Like, if you can afford a TRX, then you can basically get one because Ram will build pretty much as many as they can possibly manage, but still it's, you know, a very desirable vehicle. And there's a lot of dealerships that are charging over MSRP for this truck brand new and used as well. These are still going for over MSRP used. So I'm like, how is this possible that these trucks are selling for under MSRP? And there's a large amount of people telling me that they're getting these trucks for under MSRP. And that's where I found out about this weird, crazy situation that's been happening. So if you guys have been paying attention to the price of new cars over the last few months, then you've noticed that they have increased by a massive, massive amount. And the reason this has happened is, first off, right, used cars are selling for so much. So car makers know, well, if people are going to pay over MSRP for a used car, then they'll pay even more for our new product. So they know they can charge more. They have pricing power. And then on top of that, right, there's a labor shortage right now. And so it's harder to get people to work for you. So you have to pay them more, which means that that's also going to increase prices. And then on top of that, we have the supply chain constraints, which also is going to increase prices because it's just harder to build vehicles. So we have all these things pushing up the price. But what does this have to do with getting $8,000 off of a, you know, Ram TRX, for example, or just getting, you know, deals off of MSRP with new product from Dodge, Ram, Jeep, and Chrysler? Well, Dodge, Ram, Jeep, and Chrysler have implemented price protection for their customers. And basically what this is if you put an order in with these manufacturers and the MSRP increases by a massive amount as your order is getting, you know, built, basically, you don't get charged that increase in price. Right? That is what's been happening. And so a really good example is with these Ram TRXs, people will put an order for a TRX, you know, and they put an order in months ago, right? For a 2022 TRX, right? I think you can't even order them anymore. I think there's like a cutoff date. But anyways, they put the order in months ago. And since then, Ram has increased the MSRP on the TRX by a very large margin, like $8,000, $10,000. Like when I got my truck, as a 2021 model year, fully loaded, is stickered for under $95,000. Now this same exact truck today, stickers for about $105,000, $10,000 price increase in just a couple of years. And realistically, it's more like a $10,000 price increase within the last few months. But again, there's this price protection in place. And so people will, you know, people several months ago put in their orders for these TRXs and they had sticker prices in the $90,000 range if it was a fully loaded TRX. And then the truck comes in. And the truck comes in with the updated window sticker that says, you know, $105,000 for the sticker price because of the price increase. But again, manufacturers like Ram are doing this price protection for their customers. So they're paying the original MSRP that they saw when they put their order in, not the newly updated MSRP. So it looks like the person's getting, you know, $8,000 to $10,000 off, again, for TRX, for example, or, you know, other Stellantis products, right? The margin might not be as big, but it looks like you're getting a deal off of, you know, sticker price. But in reality, you are just paying what the sticker price was a few months ago. The sticker price just increased and you're not paying that price increase. Now, there is one thing that actually halts this price protection from what I've been told. And the thing that halts this price protection is if you are not the original order holder for a vehicle. So let's say that I go in to a dealership and order a new Ram TRX, and then I decide, you know what, I don't want to buy the TRX anymore, so I back out of the order. And let's say that then that truck goes into the dealership and then gets sold to someone else. That person doesn't get price protection on that truck. So like if I ordered a fully loaded TRX at $95,000 and then backed out of it, and then, you know, the MSRP inflated up to $105,000, right? Because of all the inflationary pressure, and that truck lands at the dealership and someone else purchases it, they have to pay $105,000. But if I had kept my order, I would have only had to have paid, in this example, the $95,000 original price that was there. I know it's a little bit confusing. Hopefully that makes sense, but that is what's been happening. And I think a lot of manufacturers are going to adopt this because of what happened with Rivian. Believe it or not, if you guys don't know what happened with Rivian, they basically sent in mass email out to all of their order holders with the R1T and the R1S, and they said, hey, because of inflationary pressure, we have to increase the price of all of our orders by $20,000. And everyone said, heck no. And they said, we're going to cancel our order with you if you increase the price of my order by this much. So then Rivian came back and said, no, we'll actually honor the original price. So then it, you know, kept a lot of people in the fold, right? And so since other manufacturers got to see that whole flop with Rivian, now they're like, okay, we can't do this to our customers. If we go and just say, hey, inflationary pressure, the price is going to be $10,000 more for someone who's already put an order in, we're going to lose that person as a customer. So we're not going to go that route. We're going to keep the price what it is now, and then, you know, we'll kind of deal with things as they go. So what can you do as a consumer? First off, if you're going to be purchasing a new vehicle in the next little bit, understand that putting in an order is probably going to be your best bet, because I don't see the prices coming down, and I don't see the prices slowing down from the increase that they have been experiencing over the last few months. I think that this is just going to slowly like compound until the end of the year, and you know, pretty much every single vehicle brand new is probably going to have a 10 to 20% increase in price over this year from an MSRP perspective. That's my guess. That's not fact. There's, you know, that's just what I've done from a research perspective. So if you're going to order a vehicle, the sooner the better. And the next thing that you want to do is make sure that you're ordering a vehicle from a manufacturer that actually offers price protection. So ask the dealership. The dealership will know if their manufacturer offers pricing protection. And make sure that your vehicle is actually ordered. This is the most important thing, because until your order is actually submitted to the manufacturer, it does not matter, right? A really good example is with Ford's system that I'm going to talk about in another video, because I absolutely hate it, with the Bronco and the Lightning, right? Where you put in a reservation and then eventually you get to put in your order. Well, guess what? If you're a reservation holder for, like, let's say that, you know, a new Bronco, and let's say that you've spec'd out your Bronco to a $60,000 MSRP, but then they decide that, well, because of supply chain constraints and inflationary pressure and everything, we need to increase that MSRP to $70,000. Well, if you don't actually have a physical order in, then you're going to have to pay the higher price until you actually have like an actual order in. So make sure that if you're going to go into a dealership and order a vehicle, make sure, again, you have price protection. If you don't, then maybe that will sway you to another manufacturer, right? I think that's going to happen over the next little bit. But then on top of that, make sure you're putting in an actual order and not just a reservation. Make sure that you're putting in a deposit to actually order a car like that same day. Like they are sending over the order to the manufacturer. The factory is then going to be picking up that order. Because if not, then, you know, things could get a little bit dicey. Now that's pretty much going to sum things up for today's video. And I think it's absolutely insane that nobody's really talking about this. But at the same time, unless you like work at a dealership that is doing this like price protection stuff, then you probably don't, or unless you work for like the manufacturer, you probably don't know about this. And if you work for a dealership and a manufacturer, then you're probably not going to be like posting about this a bunch, because you know, obviously I think it's a good look that manufacturers are doing price protection, but at the same time, it's not a good look that manufacturers are increasing their prices so much, right? Hopefully, you know, hopefully that makes sense. They have to, right? Because of everything that's happening. But at the same time, if like, I could never see a manufacturer coming out and saying, hey, by the way, since we're going to have to increase the price of our vehicle by $20,000, if you already put in an order, then we're going to honor that price. But then like what that says to future buyers is, oh crap, because I didn't buy the vehicle at this point, I now have to pay more for the same vehicle. And yeah, so I could see why it's not being like just advertised way out there. So hopefully this helps you guys out. And yeah, I think that's all. So I'll see all of you in the next video. And again, car buying guide, of course. There you go.